Okay, well, welcome to the African time. The name is Vadashi. Well, my South Africans, I know this has actually already happened when Cyril Ramaphosa went to the parliament to discuss national issues with them. But there's this part of the whole issue that I want to share with you guys, okay? Man actually shared some powerful takes that, man, I don't know if man is being a politician right now, but if I was being sincere and honest, that is one of my best speeches I've ever seen, though. Trust me. It was best. No reading thing. Man was actually speaking from here. And I think I love it. Do you want to see what he says? Well, see this. It's actually beautiful. See this.
That one of the things that holds South Africa's economy back from growth is the level of concentration. Concentration because they said the ownership of the economy is in far too few hands. Ownership has not spread. That is what the World Bank and IMF said. And that is precisely what happens in other countries. When you go to other countries, you'll find the citizens. I mean, in Africa, it will largely be black people. Wherever you go in the world, it will be the citizens. Now, in our country, it was just the few privileged, and may I continue to say white people, who continue to own the means of production, who continue to own the productive economy of our country. Now,
we took them to America.
Now, this I find very worrying. I find it very worrying that we continue to have this notion that BEE is the one that's holding our economy back. It is the partial and exclusive ownership of the means of production in our country that is holding this economy from growing. So, what we seek to do, as set out in the Equality Clause in our Constitution, to redress the imbalances of the past. If we accept that the ownership of our economy is imbalanced, the clause on equality in our Constitution seeks to undo that, to redress that. So therefore, ownership of our economy should be broadened. And I can tell you, Dr. Mulder, there's nothing that gives our people joy, particularly black people, as they go around and they find that this production facility is owned by a black person. It warms one's heart. It makes us feel so good because we've come from a horrible past when that was not allowed by law, where people were arrested. If you wanted to set up an economic facility in town, you were put to jail. But today, we are saying all that must be put behind us. We must allow more and more people to play an important role in the economy of our country. And this is what baffles me by those who are opposed to black economic empowerment. I say, what do you want to see happening? Do you want to see black people continuing to play the role of laborers, drawers of water, hewers of wood, and consumers only? Why can't black people be made to own productive aspects of our economy? Why can't they be rich as well? That is what needs to happen. Because it is when they get to that level. Dr. Mulder, you look at the Afrikaners, the history of your people. If you look at the history of your people, they were held back by the English. And with later days, they were enabled. They became more and more economically empowered. And they became economically empowered due to the policies of apartheid, the laws that were put in place, the sweet deals that they were given, and they started getting more and more into being serious economic players. Why can't the same be done for black people? Why? And this baffles me. Really, I don't understand it, because To me, that is the normal thing to do. You need, as a nation, to say, this group has been disempowered. It's been disempowered, we need to empower it. Like the approach we have now, the rural areas of our country have been disadvantaged, and we're seeking to direct more and more assistance and empowerment to the rural areas so that the rural areas also come up. Now, anyone who will tell me that that is wrong, really, I think they must have their heads examined, because...
Okay, so how do you guys see it? Isn't it be beautiful? If man actually means his word, that is something beautiful to hear or to see. Man actually really talked, and I was happy. When I was watching it, I was so touched. But guess what? That was how I was feeling though, but some South Africans were feeling differently. I don't know, but see this. Well, this one came and says, talks right, but moves left. It's a tactic. Well, that's an African though. He's saying that man is actually talking right, but he does the opposite. He believed that, nah, that's not the way out though. But this one also says, apartheid was evil when you did it, but it's not now that we do it. As they say, revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, these are all various South African people points. Again, this one says, why do I feel belittled? Why do I feel this is a plea, or why? Is it that hard to talk directly and fix things? Can we move past words and start working on things that benefit Africans? Well, that's South African though. He's saying that why do we always talk right? Why do we always talk good and do the opposite? Why can't we just do the talk? Why is it so hard for African leaders to do that? Okay, and again, this one says, give me a break. Thanks for the history lesson, Cyril, but B does not do what you say it does. That's the difference. It benefits the few. Okay, and then lastly, this one says, history has shown that our president is good with words, but failed to act. We need to see radical decisions. We need to see SOEs developing, immigration being a priority, policies that drive growth and also include blacks also. Well, it seems like what I saw was really different than what many South Africans saw. Well, I thought the man was being emotional, man was being hit and right with history, and man was actually speaking to the masses. But I think South Africans have actually been used to this kind of takes and this kind of views and this kind of sayings. So that they're actually seeing through the lines. Well, Cyril, I know you had one of the best speeches out there that day, but promise me, or I hope you actually deliver whatever you're saying though. And I hope you know exactly how to do it, because it seems like South Africans have grown tired with that lie. They are now in for something different. Hopefully you get that for them. The name is Vidashi. Thank you for your time.